At Epiphany, we commemorate, as we read in Matthew chapter 2, the arrival of the Magi, the wise ones, who bravely and perhaps either naively or intentionally, to and in His face, approached King Herod to inquire about the whereabouts of the one born King of the Jews. This moment is captured in the beloved carol written in the late 1800s, "We Three Kings of Orient are." The lines, "Bearing gifts we travel so far, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star," evoke the spirit of their journey, but perhaps of our journeys too. There's a playful but also serious tradition of querying the text, singing "We Three Queens of Orient are." Yet regardless of how they identified or expressed themselves, kings, queens, wise ones, or magi, the story of their visit has always fascinated, intrigued, and puzzled me. Questions remain: where did they come from? Who were they? And most importantly, how did they know? In the Old Testament, we read about Daniel, famously remembered for his time in the lion's den, but also as a cohort of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Daniel was actually given the title of chief of the Magi, even as a captive in ancient Persia. Could these Magi have been descendants or recipients of the stories that Daniel and his friends shared, passed down generation after generation for over 500 years? If so, this truly demonstrates the power of sharing our own faith stories to keep hope alive. The Magi traveled a great distance to bring gifts. With my southern North Carolina mountain accent, the word far can phonetically mean both from a long distance and fire, as folks back home pronounce fire as far. We sometimes joke that in that case, the profession of the Magi must have been firefighters because they came from afar, a fire, if you will. While this wordplay may not translate universally, it highlights how their long journey and the metaphorical fires they faced resonate with our own past today. Many of us have traveled long and difficult roads, and there is still much uncertainty ahead with obstacles and fires of hatred, phobias, and those who intend us harm. The Magi, the queens of old, were warned in a dream to take another way home. This reminds me of Elijah, the most powerful prophet in the Old Testament, who was told in the depth of exhaustion and depression, as he heard the gentle whisper of God's breath and Spirit telling him not to take another way, but to go back the way he came. In our journeys to find the Christ child, to encounter the divine, it is that same divine Spirit, pneuma, present at creation, hovering over the waters, whispering into Elijah's ear and warning the Magi in a dream. It's that same Spirit of the divine which also guides us. This Spirit helps us to discern whether to return the way we came or take a different way home. I'm reminded too of the Old Testament book of Jeremiah that says, "Stand at those crossroads and look for the ancient paths. Look for the good way and travel that way, and you'll find rest for your souls." As we continue our journeys, may we seek out those ancient paths, not to stay there, but to listen for divine guidance and find rest for our souls along the way, knowing that God is behind us, beside of us, but ahead of us in this journey. God bless you, my friends.